it comes to great producers, for a long time, the number one producer in hip hop was always Easy Mo B to me, which you will not hear many people say. But if you know his work, his monumental work, it made sense. But he has been kind of inconsistent the last 20 years. So, when it comes to best producers, I say Premier, not Dr. Dre. Most people say Dr. Dre, but he had, you know, a lot of Dr. Dre's praise is obviously he is that great, but a lot of it is, the monster names he worked with. But DJ Premier is the greatest hip hop producer of all time. The difference between Dr. Dre and Premier when you come to debate number one is Dr. Dre has those great drums, legendary records, but a lot of his records, it was DJ Yella was getting the sample or arranging it. It was Scott Storch. It was Mailman. It was a team. It was Ghost, basically Ghost producing, Daz, DJ Quick. But that doesn't take away from Dr. Dre because he's still a monster. But I have to put him at number two. Premier is number one because DJ Premier, he would craft a beat around what you did. He would craft a beat around your voice, your vocal tone. He was that intricate with it. He wasn't just making beats. No, he studied your vocal pattern, your rhyming pattern. He crafted it around your own rhythm. That's why it's rare that you hear someone rapping over a Premier beat and it don't sound good because he made it for him. Now, if you freestyle Hot 97 and you trash, well, you trash. But so for a long time, my top three, and still to this day, my top three is probably Premier, Dre. Easy Mo B was my number one for a long time, but he's down the list. So, Pete Rock, Eric Sermon, who never gets his credit. Love Eric Sermon. But to many people, they might have number one or in their top five or whatever, Jay Dilla. Now, when it comes to Jay Dilla, I was never that familiar with him. And in fact, in the 2000s, and in the last 10 years, currently, whatever the case, he gets a lot of praise, like damn near worship. And me not being familiar with him, that made me kind of be like, this guy's overrated. I don't even know him like that. I ain't heard, I was doing that nigga shit. I was doing that nigga shit of, well, I ain't heard this, or I don't know this, so he can't be that great. I was doing that nigga shit, But so to me, Jay Dilla was always overrated because I just didn't know his work, and then I just kept hearing him, and I was like, if he's so great, how come I don't know none of his songs? So I just had no care for him. But then a few years ago, I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired of hearing about Jay Dilla. I'm so tired of this. So what I did was I went on that Google machine and I looked up Jay Dilla. I went to, I believe, search his production discography or productionography, whatever they call this shit. And I'm looking through and I'm like, okay, all right, he started here. But then I'm looking at the Far Side and it says he produced Runnin'. I said, what? He produced Running with Farside, the legendary Run DMC scratch hook sample in it. I was like, he did this? And then I found he did this record for Common. He did this record that they gave to Joey Badass. He did this record for Tribe Called Quest. He did this record. And I was like, what the hell? He did this record for Busta Rhymes. I was like, what the hell? So the entire time when I was saying, this person is so overrated, I don't know their shit, the entire time I knew all his shit. And I loved his shit. I just didn't know it was him because I was never one of these people who was like, who made this beat? Who arranged it? I'm not one of these people who's like, as soon as you hear a beat, I know the sample from this 1972 orchestra and I know this 6-second beat pattern and I can notice the impeach the president drums at the drop of a hat. Like, I wasn't one of these people. Now, today I'm more familiar with certain things, but the whole time I was playing his music, loving his music, didn't know it was him. So Jay Dilla, And then come to find out, he kind of invented lo-fi. He kind of invented he invented his own sound and genre. Like a lot of these, you know, study beats. Like when you're on YouTube, these it always pops up. Study beat channels, 24-hour channels, the type of instrumentals they play, that boom bap. He like created that or transformed it. You know, a lot of PlayStation 2 games back in the day, the menu music, like if you're familiar with NBA 2K3 on PS2, Xbox, a lot of the music they would play in that game when you played the street mode, or you're just in the menus, it was like Jay Dilla's sounding beats, like so like he was like the godfather of this type of sound. So it was always just it was like a jolt to my system when I realized this man was great, and I knew he was great. I just didn't know it was him the whole time. So what a fool I was. And then I learned he passed. I didn't even I knew he passed away, but I didn't even realize he passed away in like what, '06, I believe it was. I thought he passed away in like 2010 or something, but he's been gone a long time. And rest his soul. I was watching interviews with his mother and what have you, and you could see the joy and exuberance in her voice and her being when she speaks on his work and things like that. And Jay Dilla is a legend. And then my favorite beat from him is he did a beat called Life with Proof, the late Proof. And that beat is just, oh my God, that beat is, it just does something to your spirit, something to your soul. And Jay Dilla, a legend. But I didn't know who he was this whole time. So, getting back to listing the best producers, would I say Jay Dilla's number one? No. It's still Premier, still Dr. Dre. But is he in my top 10? He probably would be. It'll probably be Premier, Dre, and Pete Rock, Eric Sermon, Easy Mo B. I always forget his name. What was the producer? Oh man, he had like a real like simple everyday name, but he produced like in the '80s with like I think Run DMC and what was his name? I always forget his name. It wasn't Harry Smith. No, what was his name? I can never remember his name, but there's a producer from the '80s. I think he passed away, but he will be in there. I forget his name. Obviously, Marley Marl will be in there. Alchemist. I don't know. Is that 10? Did I say 10 names yet? Jay Dilla will be in there, but yeah, and I just never knew who he was, and then I got informed. But sometimes that's the thing about the internet. Sometimes people can be praising and worshiping people, committing idolatry. It turns you off to that person, and a lot of times these fanboys are wrong. And they just turn you off to people. Let's not mention certain rappers that I get on this channel. But sometimes people are right. Sometimes you have to go and do your research, because you might be in agreement, but just not know it. And like, share, subscribe, hit the Cash App, and that is it.